So I don't know how long this video is going to stay up because I want to play you a clip from a book I've been reading called Mornings in Jenin. And this is a clip about the Sabra Shatila massacre that occurred in 1982 in Lebanon of Lebanese and Palestinian civilians. This clip explains better than I ever could what happened. Because if I tell you the facts, the PLO was protecting this refugee camp, but because of the siege of Beirut by Israel, the PLO agreed to leave Lebanon on the premise that the United States would protect the refugees once they left. So they left. The United States decided to not honor this agreement, and then Israel basically guided in Lebanese militia to massacre 4,000 civilians in 48 hours. So I hope that I can play this for you guys. And as always, free Palestine.
On September 16, in defiance of the ceasefire, Ariel Sharon's army circled the refugee camps of Sabra and Shatila. Israeli soldiers set up checkpoints, barring the exit of refugees, and allowed their Lebanese Phalange allies into the camp. Israeli soldiers, perched on rooftops, watched through their binoculars during the day, and at night lit the sky with flares to guide the path of the Phalange, who went from shelter to shelter in the refugee camps. 2 days later, the first Western journalists entered the camp and bore witness. Robert Fisk wrote of it in Pity the Nation. They were everywhere, in the road, the laneways, in the backyards and broken rooms, beneath crumpled masonry and across the top of garbage tips. When we had seen 100 bodies, we stopped counting. Down every alleyway, there were corpses, women, young men, babies, and grandparents, lying together in lazy and terrible profusion, where they had been knifed or machine-gunned to death. Each corridor through the rubble produced more bodies. The patients at the Palestinian hospital had disappeared after gunmen ordered the doctors to leave. Everywhere we found signs of hastily dug mass graves. You might have accepted evidence of a few murders, even dozens of bodies killed in the heat of combat. But there were women lying in houses with their skirts torn up to their waists and their legs wide apart. Children with their throats cut. Rows of young men shot in the back after being lined up at an execution wall. There were babies, blackened babies, because they had been slaughtered more than 24 hours earlier, and their small bodies were already in a state of decomposition. Tossed into rubbish heaps alongside discarded U.S. Army ration tins, Israeli Army medical equipment, and empty bottles of whiskey.